Hello, as promised in the first video, my introduction, I'm going to briefly describe the plot, introduce the main characters, and then the other videos will branch, and I'll describe those characters in detail, why they matter, all that fun stuff. So, okay, basically, there's this guy named Diego, and basically he didn't get a job he wanted under Othello, who's the main character. He wanted to be a lieutenant under Othello, and Othello gave the job to someone, a guy named Cassio, who Iago really disagreed, and he didn't think Cassio deserved the job because Cassio's like a mathematician. He has nothing to do with the war effort or anything. So basically, that kickstarts the plot. Like, that's Iago's whole motive behind getting his revenge on Othello. So they go through all this stuff. Like, first he tries to get Desdemona, who is Othello's wife, Brabantio's Desdemona's husband or father. Sorry. Desdemona is Brabantio's daughter, and Othello is married to Desdemona. So Iago and this guy named Rodrigo go to Brabantio's house and try to say all these things like, oh, Othello stole her from him, and she deceived Brabantio by like not saying anything, and basically they end up going to like the Senate, and the Duke kind of lets Othello get kind of away with it because he explains like, oh, I didn't do anything bad to her or anything, I just told her about my life stories, and that's why she likes me. So they let him go, but then they got ordered to Cyprus. Othello got ordered to Cyprus because they were in like a battle with the Turks or something, and Desdemona wanted to go with Othello, but that wasn't really permitted, so she got sent to live with Iago for a while. Basically, there's not really much fighting that actually goes on in the play. All they mention is that there was a big storm, and it wiped out the whole Turkish fleet. And basically, so that little plan didn't really work out for Iago. So then he tried to somehow make Cassio look bad, because that's the guy who's in the position that Iago wants to be in. So he somehow they were guarding in the city or something, and they tried to get Cassio and everybody else really drunk, and then so this guy named Montano and Cassio ended up kind of fighting. They got in a little sword duel, and then I don't know, Othello, he comes in and he's like, no, this ain't happening. So he lets Cassio go from his duties. He relieves him from his duties. So then that didn't really totally solve the problem between them, Iago and wanting to get his revenge on Othello. But Othello and Cassio just kind of sort of got more distantly apart, and they didn't really associate themselves with each other for a little bit in the play. Cassio is kind of afraid to talk to him and stuff because he's really embarrassed. And so, kind of jumping ahead just a little bit, there's a handkerchief that Othello gave Desdemona that's like really important. That was like the first gift he ever gave him, and Iago wanted to steal that. So Iago's wife Emilia picks it up off the ground because it got dropped. And so they use that and they plant that in Cassio's house. Or I think it was in his house. I don't know if it was in his house or they just made it look like Desdemona was with Cassio and they were having an affair. So that just set off the whole play. That's when I got really interested because there was all these accusations going on and like Othello was just not having anything. And this is all part of Iago's plan, so he's just loving this. And he's playing like two-faced guy. Like he'd go over to Othello and be like, "Oh yeah, Desdemona, she's a terrible lady," and then he'd go back over and be like, "Ha ha ha, this is all working out for me." So basically, they end up wanting to like start killing people all of a sudden. I think I ordered Rodrigo to kill Cassian. So that was a weird part of the story. Like that confused me a little bit. Not everything that they wanted to happen happened. So Rodrigo goes up to stab Cassio, and like they get in a little scruffle, and Cassio ended up killing Rodrigo, and I think Iago stabbed Cassio like in the back of like the leg and just kind of wounded him. And Othello, amidst all of this, was just so mad at his wife for like deceiving him and cheating on him. So he was talking to like Iago and all that, and he wanted to like kill her. Like, and he got real kind of twisted about it. Like, we're gonna dress it with the gown and all this. Like, we're gonna put the wedding sheets on the bed and like I'm gonna kill her on that. Like, that's gonna be her deathbed. So he goes and he has all this. He talks with her in the room, like, "I'm gonna kill you," and it's kind of a weird moment in the story because they were just kind of talking, and then subtly, like, if you kind of understood the context, he was almost kind of like, "Oh yeah, and I'm gonna kill you now," and it was just so weird. There was almost just a lot of this. I don't know if it was the time period this was written in or what, but it was just, I thought it was like more like dark humor, like, are you kidding me, this is happening right now. And basically Othello like smothers her and basically kills her, and then Amelia comes in and is like, "Oh, what are you doing? You killed her," and eventually Desdemona dies. Now then, everybody just comes rushing in somehow, and they all like mourn over her body and all that, and Amelia's like, she kind of knew Iago's plan, and she's like, "Look what this did. All these people are like hurt and dead because of you." And then Iago gets all like infuriated about it and attacks his wife Amelia, and then he runs off. Amelia dies, and Amelia thought it was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be cool. I'm gonna die next to my mistress Desdemona," and in a way, everybody was kind of justified in what happened to them, which was weird. Like, Desdemona was happy she died, and she still didn't like hate Othello really, which was weird. And then so Iago runs off, and then everybody goes and gets him, and then they bring him back in, and then Othello stabs Iago, which was like justice moment in the whole thing. That's when you think the good guy won right there. And then Othello ends up saying all this stuff like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I was this dumb. I killed my own wife. All these people dead could possibly be my fault." And so he ended up just killing himself. And basically, that's the whole story in a little nutshell. So, the next videos I'm going to talk about some of the major characters. And yeah, so stay tuned.